tearing up the concrete roads we're building for your cars and horses. They're taking commerce. They're making money off the road. They don't deserve that. But any money you put on them as a tax just got passed on in the cost. But the public went, yeah, those rich truck drivers are making money. So they said it was under Commerce Clause of the states and the federal government. This is all on record. And began taxing and set up state police and others to tax trucks by the 30s. They got it in place. Then by the 50s, it was get a driver's license just to make sure your car's safe. It's, 50 cents and here's a piece of paper. Then it's put your face on it by the 70s. Now it's federally, globally standardized. But cops will pull you over and say, it's a privilege to drive. Of course, it's not under common law, not under Supreme Court rulings, not under the facts. Cops have tried to tell you that guns are a privilege. Of course, the public fought back with the facts, and police now know the truth, and even the dumb ones have backed off. Now that, oh, yeah, that is a right, not a privilege, until you're a felon. Before the 68 Gun Control Act, it wasn't even for felons. I say let felons have guns. Don't touch mine, okay? Because I'm going to kill that felon they come in my house or try to carjack me. A felon's going to have a gun anyways. Now they're starting to go after folks who have misdemeanors for guns, even though there's not a law. They just, through the NICS, deny you. And you all know about that. It's been in the news and is on record. But the point here is that if they can tax bicycles, and they're already doing this in some areas of China, they're going to tax walking next. I'm not kidding. Well, I mean, look up tax to breathe. That's what Maurice Strong and the UN call for. That's what a carbon tax is. And they're exempt from prosecution while they're running scams on you. They're trying to get you in total immunity right now. I just read to you that article. See, it's so over the top because people aren't awake and aren't resisting. Just like the CIA director, everybody's so blown away. I've been all over different newspaper interviews and TV stuff. People going, how did you know Google's watching everybody over the camera on all the new computers and phones? How did you know the CIA was dialing in to appliances, data over power line and smart meters? Because it was all in DARPA and Google press releases a decade ago and 7 years ago and 5 years ago. I mean, people, you think I just make this stuff up? I don't make any of it up. Got it? You think I just say the Rockefeller Foundation developed cancer viruses for your vaccines? I link on Infowars.com to their website with the plans in the 50s and 60s. Do you think I just say they're putting stuff in the vaccines to sterilize you and designing GMO crops to do it? I have their own documents. I don't make any of it up. I wish I did. I wish I did. I wish I did. Do you get it through your head? It's real. I feel so sorry for these effeminate, they're not even effeminate, women are stronger in most cases. This is insult to women. These soft men who get off on giggling at threats to society and laughing at real men who are awake and warning people. You run into them all the time. But they don't count, folks. People that say, oh, all these jellyfish, metrosexual men don't care. They just want to wear their plaid pink and green outfits and prance around. Let them. They don't count. They didn't count in 1776. 3% started the war, 5% won it. We got way more than 5%. So what if a bunch of jellyfish want to be spied on, want to drink bisphenol A and die of cancer? I am a free man, and I declare my independence from it. And you don't have permission to devalue my money and enslave my country and shut off my power systems and try to destroy my children's future. I declare the galactic common law rule of liberty for sentient life forms. I have a right to fight back. Coming up next hour, Lindsey Williams is going to be joining us to talk about the program to shut off our energy supply in this country, the fraud of peak oils. The globalists teach us there isn't any oil, so they can charge us more for less, shutting down the oil refineries. It's not the environmentalists doing that, it's the oil companies, but they love blaming the environmentalists who actually work for them so they can control the debate and not make it about real environmental issues, like the fluoride that's left over from oil refining that they then end up dumping in our water supply and making us pay for. It's also mined in fertilizer. No, the oil companies aren't good, and neither are the trendy little liberals. Could slit your throat for $1 in most cases. They're not liberal, folks. Don't go off the camouflage cover. Go off what they really stand for. I just briefly want to point out here that in New York City, they are calling for, and this is in other parts of the country too, taxing riding bikes on the sidewalk or in the bike lanes. That's always been the plan, not just a registration fee where you got to do that already and have a sticker. That's charging you to travel, but now tolls. And that's always been the plan. You see, you can't toll somebody in their car if they're not involved in a commercial activity. But first they started with trucks because it was commercial. They did have some limited ability there under law. Then it moved to regular cars, and now it's moving to bikes. So you want a nanny state, folks? You got it. And here's CNBC. Oil prices at $200 a barrel. Some think it's coming, and it's already gone up quite a bit since Lindsey Williams predicted it would 4 or 5 months ago on our show. He's been proven right again from his source. He's joining us. Before I get into the Trayvon Martin case and the tragic shooting in a suburb of Orlando, Florida, where we're #1 again, two radio books in a row, thanks to the instant people meters. Boy, since those came out, we've gone from doing really well in the ratings, even on smaller stations. The one in Orlando's big 810, but just dominating #1. This Sunday show. In many demographics is #1 here in Austin on 590 AM and #2 in the big, most important demographic. It's just an example all over the place. Just the truth is just dominating. People are hungry for it. That old cliche of calling me a conspiracy theorist doesn't work anymore. Like that's like a red badge of honor. I wish all the other talk show hosts that just mimic what's on the news and are so cowardly and, of course, have no listeners. I wish all you guys and girls would grow up and defend America when the country needs it. I wish you'd admit, you know what, Alex, you were right. Don't need to give me credit. Don't need to come out and, say how great I am. I don't even want that. I want you to be big enough to admit world government's real and to try to save this country. Because what the globalists are doing is so outrageous. If you would just face reality and admit that world government's being announced, run by mega banks, all of it, we could turn this around. Because I know talk radio is one of the venues that isn't totally controlled. It's mainly just people regurgitating what's on the news. Program directors, that goes to you too. And I know a lot of you are waking up. That's why we're getting put on so many stations. We get calls all the time by program directors going, I thought you were a kook 5 years ago when I first heard you, or 10 years ago as a guest on some other show, or I heard you on a local station. I got to apologize. It's all true. I'm going to put you on our station. We're going to put you on the weekend, see what happens 3 months later. We're going to put you on weeknights, rebroadcast, see what happens. It's doing so well. Oh, my gosh, you've been on 2 weeks. We're putting you on live up against Rush Limbaugh. Boom! #1. Boom! That's what happens. You put me up against any of these people, I'll annihilate them because I'll tell it like it is. I know how things work. I do my homework. You know what I did all weekend? All weekend while my children played around me, researched, worked, uploaded reports to Infowars.com, called my writers. You know why? Because I know what's going on. I understand things, and I want you to understand things. I want you to know not my opinion, but my information that is incontrovertible. Incontrovertible. Do I occasionally make little mistakes or get a number wrong? Sure. But overall, I'm trying to tell the truth, and I've got an incredible record of being accurate. And people are figuring that out. And you know what? It's not an ego booster to know that. I know how much danger I'm in. Thomas Jefferson said, there is not a truth existing which I fear or wish or would wish unknown to the whole world. It's a good quote. The point is that it's a great responsibility. As Spider-Man's uncle tells him, with great power comes great responsibility. And I wish more of you who are eloquent, well-spoken, intelligent, who know this is true but think you're going to play it safe and kind of sit on the sideline. That's the mind trick, believing that if you do what's popular, believing if you go with what the main line is, that you're going to be safe in society. When the main line is a bunch of brainwashed sheep giving up on all forms of liberty, that's destruction. Got it? And it's not the American way. It's not the way of free humans. It's the opposite of the Renaissance, the opposite of the Enlightenment, the opposite of everything good. A lot of people are waking up and joining our ranks. Don't wait till it's too late. Okay, I'm going to talk about the Trayvon Martin case. This has been going on for weeks. I've been focused on war with Iran, devaluation of the currency, inflation, the fact that we're really in a depression. huge internet censorship legislation. I've been keeping my eye on other balls. UN taxes, Agenda 21, global government being announced. I've been keeping my eye on that. But a week or so ago, listeners were like, you got to look at this. And I started seeing spam all over my website, Infowars.com, that you must be racist. You're not looking at this. And I'm like, well, okay, I better go look at this. And sure enough, it's kind of like that case that they had with the sports players a few years ago. The Duke lacrosse, because it was a black topless dancer. And they were all guilty. They were all rapists. You know, white people are bad. I mean, they're all devils, man. They got tails underneath their pants. I know I got one. I mean, come on. And again, it wasn't even so much black folks saying that. It was the media, because they want divide and conquer. They don't want blacks and whites getting along. Under the name of multiculturalism, they want us all not trusting each other and hating each other. So remember, for years, boy, that whole lacrosse team was guilty, and it turned out it was all bull. Of course, that was a minor footnote because the media didn't want to talk about that. Now, with this Trayvon Martin thing, I don't think it's like the lacrosse situation. Neighborhood Watch guy, he admittedly was a cop wannabe, this Zimmerman fellow, George Zimmerman. He was reportedly always calling 911, something like 99 times. He followed the guy, got in his face, reportedly. And then some witnesses say that they saw Martin, the guy in the hoodie, climb up on top of Zimmerman, who was in red. And Zimmerman was like a little guy, and Trayvon, you see these pictures when he was a kid, like 12. He was 17, he was a big guy. So the guy got scared, he had a gun. You shouldn't go out waving a gun around. Just because if the person's leaving your area, it's de-escalated. Okay? I think it's a stupid thing, it's bad. They're going to use this against the Second Amendment and against this right to defend yourself law. It's not defending yourself when somebody's going away from you. Now, if they're stealing your property, it's the old thing of stealing your horse. You're allowed to shoot them because that's your livelihood. But still, I probably wouldn't do it. That said, this is being used by Obama to race bait and divide because, you know, people 4 years ago thought they were getting free houses and everything, and he went along with that. Now they figured out he works for Goldman Sachs, same old scam as Bush, but even worse in many respects. So now it's all about race, and Jesse Jackson and Al Sharpton, the same ones down there with the whole lacrosse situation, they're running around. The Black Panthers are saying $10,000 for his arrest by citizens. That's a total felony to put out bounties on people privately. Super dangerous. They're trying to get $1 million from sports stars. It's all just a bunch of money grubbing and all these Trayvon things. Look, it's murky what happened. We don't know what happened, but bottom line, the media and the globalists love it because it's going to make whites think that blacks are out to get them. It's going to make blacks think that whites are out to get them. And it's going to get us all fighting with each other instead of talking about the depression, the global government, the wars, the police state, the TSA. The last thing they want is the American people coming together. And look, a few years ago when they shot that poor black guy who was handcuffed in the back and said he was resisting on the DART subway thing in San Francisco, I called that day one and said it was terrible. And I said, people starting to riot. I'm not saying it's good, but I get it. When the video got released, they killed that guy in cold blood. I get it, and that was wrong. And I'm glad the cop went to jail. Not long enough, only 1 year. This is an entirely different thing. And why don't black folks get together and come together, 10,000 protesting in all these cities against the drug dealers, or against government shipping the drugs in, or against the fact that 52% of all blacks are never born or aborted? You see, the real racists pose as liberals and sell you on this culture that's destroyed your community. But blacks were just the beta test. The New World Order eugenics family-destroying system is for every community. And the answer is for humans to come together against the psychopathic, technocratic, organized crime guild known as the New World Order. Big hour